Oh, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of Petty and Ill-Informed.
Ill-informed.
Joining me, all three of my co-hosts. It's like a dream come true this March, as Kevin, Tom, and Nikki have all returned to the show to carry me on. How's it going, Tom?
Yep, all well and good. Really looking forward to talking about all kinds of things tonight.
Okay. And Kevin, how are you?
It's full house tonight. I'm just excited to be here.
He's cranked up the Irishness a bit there. Nikki,
I
how are
heard
you?
it too. I was just,
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
which-
just after
which-
Kevin's Lucky Charms.
Which do you want? Do you want me to be an American in Ireland or an Ireland that's an Irish guy from Ireland? I mean, that's in
You
Ireland.
could,
I don't
you,
know.
you could be
I
an
don't know what
Irish
the-
guy that lives in Ireland.
Okay,
or
well, that's
is
what
in
I'm saying.
Ireland.
But if I start to get too much, just tell me to wind it down. Wind it in. Wind it in.
Okay,
Kev.
or I'll
Wind
just
it in.
translate for you. It's
Okay,
great.
all right.
There
Okay.
you go.
So I thought tonight we'd start with EastEnders just to rip the Band-Aid off and mostly annoy Tom. But let's say it's been a rough month, been a rough February for EastEnders after months and months, like since September. They've been cock teasing me that we're going to get Martin and Stacey back together. And for those of you who know, that was my favourite couple on Albert Square, and I was rooting for them so hard. And then,
So
of course,
hard.
last week they killed Martin off on the anniversary edition, and I was devastated. You can ask Nikki. It was not a good time for me.
He really was, man. But and then everything after that has been so depressing.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
Dude. Oh,
I mean- I don't know.
it's so sad. And then you got Cindy, who caused all of this BS, just like skipping out of town. No one the wiser. That's not true. People know, but they're keeping it under their hat for reasons.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about it is that you're missing the point that Phil was named by one of the guy that plays Phil was named as one of the best actors in Britain because of his role where he almost tops himself.
I was getting there. I was doing it one storyline at a time.
Okay, well,
I was gonna go with the whole explosion caused by Cindy thing that killed Martin.
Okay, that is a pub quiz. That was a pub quiz question. How many times has the Vic either blown up or started on fire?
Yeah, like I was saying to Nikki as we were watching that episode, because she was like, "Oh man, the pub's on fire," and I was like, "Yeah, don't worry, they burn it down every couple of years.
Yeah,
It'll be back to normal in no time."
every time that they want to bring in a new landlord, that's what I'm worried about. Every time they want to bring in a new landlord, it gets burned down. It gets burned down.
We had Grant coming back, Ross Kemp himself, after surfing on the sunny climes of ITV and Sky. He deigned to return to the BBC for 3 weeks of boringness, really. I don't care for Grant that much, but he shagged Sharon for old time's sake. So,
well, Sharon's looking trim, isn't she? No, I'm not going to say fit and trim because I don't think she's fit. But I mean,
she lost an unhealthy amount of weight really quickly.
Really quickly.
I'm guessing the reason she doesn't wear any, more revealing dresses is because of all the loose skin.
Yes, yeah, I would think. Yeah, but in a way, do you and this is a side topic, but she got a lot of hate mail because she was heavier lady. You know what I mean? and whether she could play a sexy lady being heavier. And that other wee Irish lady on not Downton Abbey. What was that one show? What's that one show that everybody likes, Nikki? With the women, with like not just the women. The one that's
One show that
No,
everyone
Are you
likes with
talking
the
about
women.
like Bridgerton? Or
yes,
are you talking
yes,
about, okay,
yes, Bridgerton.
I love
The-
Bridgerton. You're right.
Yes.
Women love it. You're not wrong. It's a good
See,
show.
that's the thing about me, Kevin, is I like my women like I like my coffee, white, thick, and covered in whipped cream. So
Yes.
I don't mind
Yeah.
heavier ladies.
No, I'm saying that. I mean that's historically the way that that you would. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to get into it, but from a genetic standpoint and everything like that, you'd want a lady with birthing hips so they didn't die in childbirth. That's all.
I think Sharon's a bit past that.
Well,
And
yeah.
like that whole Albie storyline, I was like, yeah, right. She's well past that. Come on. But anyway, yes, we had the pub burned down. Grant came back, shagged Sharon for old time's sake. Martin died. And then, of course, there's Cindy. We had the reveal that Kathy was the one that knocked her over the head at Christmas. And I've got to be honest, with everything going on, couldn't give a shit. I was just at that point where I was like, I don't actually care who hit her. I just want her to not be in the show anymore. Cindy has wound me up. Like, full credit to the actress, right, playing Cindy, because she was up against Reese and Nish and still managed to stand out as like the character I despised the most.
I hate her so much. She's like a perpetual victim, even when she's the one who, is the primary reason Martin died.
She
still
shot
thinks she's a
Ian.
victim.
Yeah, she shot Ian for the second time, pushed him in front of Reese's car, causing Reese to swerve and hit the gas that caused the pub to explode. It's literally her fault that Martin died. And she's just standing there acting like, oh, somebody left me to die in the snow. And you wonder why. And this was after she cheated on Ian for months. And then when we called out for it, was like, well, what did I do? I just wanted a bit of fun. Oh, God. And she was up against Nish and Reese, both of which had committed murder. And I was still hating her more than them.
Yeah, but you see, I didn't look at it that way, guys, because I mean, okay, Cindy is a scumbag and an opportunist, right?
Yeah.
But kind of the worst thing that she did was just be a freaking dog. You know what I mean? It's all about the dog in her. So she was just going around getting her oats, for lack of a better term. So yeah, that does screw up a lot of people, this marriage. But again, when you're talking about Grant, the love rat, is Cindy any really worse than Grant, the love rat? I mean,
Grant came back for 3 weeks for the anniversary, and we know we're not going to see him ever again, probably.
yes.
That was probably Grant's last appearance at EastEnders. They didn't play Julia's theme when he left because they're keeping the door open, but I really strongly suspect that is the last time we will see Grant.
Well, maybe, but but what I'm saying is that yeah, she's a manipulative lady who likes to fuck around. Sorry about that. Is that a crime?
That's not a crime. What is a crime is shooting Ian and then pushing him in front of a car and causing the pub to explode. That's the crime, Kevin.
But that's you can't. Okay, I know that she pushed Ian into the road. I know that, and she shot Ian, and that's the way she went and stole. She got a gun, and then the whole thing that I didn't understand was whenever she was going to blackmail Ian and Kathy, she says, well, he said, you shot me. And she said, but it was in self-defense. what argument can you have is I went to Phil's house, stole a gun, brought it to your house, and then shot you in self-defense?
Do you know what's really funny about that? During the flashback sequence, you saw that Phil's dad had written Phil on that bullet. So Ian Bean had a bullet with Phil written on it in him. I just found that hilarious.
Well, I was wondering if they would find the casing.
Yeah.
And then put Phil in jail. But then Phil's already in the nut house, so that's okay.
So that's what's going on with Cindy and Martin. Martin, of course, proposed to Stacy before he died. They did get back together before he died, and then killed him off because they're bastards and I hate them.
So she's probably pregnant with this baby.
They didn't have sex.
Well, you never know.
All of these episodes, except for the live one, were filmed before she went on maternity leave. She's on maternity leave now, so she's going to be leaving the show in an upcoming episode.
Yes. Well, I thought she was pregnant because she started to look a wee bit full around around the neck. So I said
did
to
you
Sam,
did you notice all the cold sores in the cast last week? Just thought I would throw that out there.
There were a few cold sores on a few people, yeah.
It was,
So we
had all of that. We had all of those horrible storylines. We had going on.
It was because Minty and Gary came back and they infected everybody. They were working their way around the side.
I didn't expect that at all. I got to be honest. I didn't expect Minty and Gary to come back. That was great.
Yeah. And I like that Ange came back and played herself.
As a ghost, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done that before. They had Pat Butcher come back for Peggy. And Keanu came back and haunted Denise. I don't mind a bit of that.
Yeah, I know, but Ange hasn't been back for, years, you know what I mean? And the thing that I like about Ange is they could throw a bit of makeup on her and make her still look like Ange. You know what I mean?
You just look at her and you saw Ange Watts and you're like, yeah.
Yeah. As opposed to Phil's mom.
Oh, I didn't like that at all. I was like, come on. Barbara's dead. You can't have Peggy in the show without Barbara. I'm sorry, but you can't.
Well, she was all over the top. She played, like the only one that I would give any credit to is the young one that played Phil. I think he was dead on.
He was really good.
Yeah. I think he was dead on. And the guy who played Grant Mitchell wasn't so bad either. I mean, I think they were pretty good. But I
didn't have a problem with any of that. It was just Peggy. You can't do Peggy Mitchell without Barbara Windsor. And I'm sorry, but you shouldn't even try.
Yeah, but they had to, didn't they? I mean, that was it wouldn't make sense if Phil wasn't having his, I don't know. Would you deem that to be some kind of a psychotic episode? Would you think?
Yeah,
yeah.
He was just in a. So that brings us to the creme de la creme of EastEnders over the last few months, which is Phil Mitchell's descent into depression and suicidal ideation. And as Kevin said earlier, it was just magnificent performance. He did a really good job of it.
It was so good.
Yeah.
What, genuinely? Yeah.
Yeah, it was genuinely an amazing performance. He did so good.
Yeah, you would. I mean, honestly, Phil. It's a funny thing sometimes when you watch programs and they say that Phil and Grant, whenever they came onto the show, they were actually classically trained actors. And sometimes when you watch the program, you say, "Yeah, right. I don't see that at all." But that they used to, like, whenever they were trying to make roles continuous, like they would do the scenes where they'd been chasing somebody down the road and then run into the pub, that they would actually sit outside the pub and do press ups, get themselves all nice and sweaty, and on breathless and come in, so it wouldn't look like they were running down the street just walking into the pub all fresh faced. So, I mean, they did think about it. I mean, it's all about writing, I'm sure too, but that thing was masterfully written, and I think Phil did a good job of, well, the guy who plays Phil did an excellent job of making him, seem depressed, genuinely torn. Whenever Lola's kid comes and he's ready to kill himself, and then she says, "I really need your help," and then you can see he's struggling with it, and that he just doesn't. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to. Let her down, and it's an interesting thing. He's trying to give everything away to everybody, and it is interesting that the other guy that comes back who's got dementia, tells him, I need you, and then he feels guilty about it, but in an actual sense, probably did give Phil a reason to live. You see, well, I don't know.
It was a really good performance. And it was a really dark storyline, but he did it really well. He did it justice, and it was really good. Definite highlight. As I said, I didn't give a shit towards the end who hit Cindy over the head. I'm just sorry it didn't kill her. We had the toilet. No, what was it? The bathtub fall on Reese and kill him.
That was funny.
That was just great.
Because he said,
boy,
that was close, and then the toilet, the thing fell.
And then Bianca looks over.
Yeah,
he's dead.
But what was up with that outfit Bianca was wearing? That was a little OTT. The leopard skin shell suit.
Yeah,
from 1982.
They've just got this weird thing with EastEnders characters where they're just stuck in their prime. Like Kat still wears the old leopard skin dresses and everything she did when she was in her 20s, and I'm like, oh come on, she's like in her 50s.
I know, but that is the universal uniform for slappers on EastEnders. The minute you see one of them wearing cheetah skin, it's on like Donkey
She's
Kong.
a cougar.
I wouldn't call Kat a slap or anything.
No, I'm not talking about that, but I'm saying that Bianca's shell suit was white and red and black and cheap.
Yeah. It was not good. To add to the conversation in the chat, the person that would get the last say on Martin's burial rites would be Michelle, his sister.
Oh yeah, no. Do you think she's going to come back from New Zealand?
If she comes back, they best bring back the real Michelle and not that fake one they had a few years ago. Do you know she actually had to leave the show because of the fan backlash? That's why she wasn't in it for very long. They were like, nope. You can recast, but not to this extreme. Not like this. This is terrible recasting.
You can't. Michelle's got to be. That's what I said. Michelle is an archetypal character. She's never going to change. She's on there from the very get go. You can't change it. It's like if you tried to bring. I know Lofty is, but you couldn't bring Lofty back without it being Lofty.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You just couldn't.
Popped in for Dot's funeral was the last time we saw him. It's good.
Yeah. But but you're not talking about the Nishmeister.
We already talked about Nish.
Yeah, that was forever ago.
Really? Whenever he
Nish
fell
was
off the
pushed.
back?
That was months ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
was it? Oh man,
I've been forcing Nikki to watch EastEnders.
Right. Okay. Well,
Since October.
Right. So yeah, because like I said to Nikki, I had to catch up with like 6 weeks in a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just on, and then in the meantime, I've been watching. I got caught up with EastEnders, and I've been watching Coronation Street on a binge, and now I'm now if I have to go back, I can't. I'm cross storying things. From one story to another. Because I'm on New Year's Eve on Coronation Street, and now I'm still in a 40th anniversary on EastEnders. But let's, if you guys are finished, let's end it there.
Yeah, that'll do for the EastEnders chat. Tom, you can take your noise cancelling headphones off.
No, I haven't had any of them on. I just can't contribute to any of it. I'm genuinely impressed to hear that there's been a noticeably worthy performance from an actor or actress in EastEnders. I mean, you don't see that very often in soap operas. Not really. There's not. I can't think of many times when a performance in a soap has been noteworthy for people outside of the soap.
I could see him winning something for it. It was that good.
Steve,
they
Mc-
do.
But you're
They
right.
do British Soap Awards.
yeah,
They
Yeah.
do.
I mean, they do
one.
American ones too. But Nathan Fillion kind of sums it up. He used to be on a soap opera, and he said when they go to pan in on you before a scene ends, there's 3 faces that you do. It's either did I leave, or oh my gosh, I think I left the stove on, or did I leave the stove on? Nah, I turned the stove off. Those are the three faces at the end of a scene. And so now I always see that. But no, he's really good. It's not your usual soap opera fare. Because
No,
there are
Steve-
some
yeah.
bad actors on EastEnders. Like the chick that plays Bianca, not a good actress. Not good at all. But Phil, that man, ooh,
Ricky.
right in the heart. Anyway, we're moving on.
We're
We're
moving
going
on.
to talk about Elon Musk.
No, wait,
Oh,
no, but I just want to say it's Steve McFadden. That's how Steve McFadden is the person who played Phil, so that I wouldn't just say the guy who plays Phil.
Okay, a couple of rabbit holes spring to mind just quickly before we move on to Musk, Trump, Zelensky, whatever else we're going to go for tonight. A couple of rabbit holes occurred. One of them is speaking of soap opera awards, I can't help but love the fact that there's one British soap that is so ridiculously over the top, so far-fetched, and so insanely melodramatic in its storylines that it doesn't even qualify. It is never even, it's not, the rest of the soaps don't consider it worthy to be in their club, so it's never nominated for any awards.
What is it? GB News?
No.
Brookside.
Brookside stopped years ago when Jimmy Corkhill turned on all the taps in all the houses and flooded the close.
Yeah,
But,
Brookside. That's terrible.
Not Brookside. Anyone know what program I'm thinking of?
Hollyoaks?
A
Yes.
soap opera. Oh, Hollyoaks, yeah.
Yeah,
That's not really a soap opera. That's a drama, a comedy drama.
I think it wants to be a soap opera, but it's just excruciatingly over the top. I can't remember the last time I tried to. It's sometimes worth watching 5 minutes of it just to see how much insanity. I mean, if anyone went through even one episode, let alone a whole continuous series of what the scriptwriters put them through, they would be institutionalized. I mean, realistically, every single person in Hollywood would be straitjacketed and put in padded walls by the end of a week.
Yeah,
of what
but
the scriptwriters of the purgatory the scriptwriters drag all the characters through. Oh, it's terrible.
You've got to admit that they're good whenever they go on like Celebrity Get Me Out of Here or Big Brother Celebrity.
They're the kind. Yeah, the Hollyoaks.
Yeah, they're always good for the crack.
Definitely, people who would go in for those shows. Yeah. And the other thing I was going to mention just briefly is we say actors and actresses. If you go to Wikipedia, they just use actor. It's a gender neutral word, and there's no male or female or anything else determinants. Yeah, it's just I just noticed that. I wondered what it meant and where it came from.
Oh no, I think that that's Nikki, how long do you think that's been going on in America where people really refer to themselves in America as actors? I think that's been going on for like 30 years. Maybe not so much here, but you know, the sort of idea of, I know that the businessman, businesswoman to business person is relatively new. Although, that being said, you know, it is tough to realize that Daft Punk was popular 25 years ago. You know that? I mean, I just realized that today.
Oh, so many
So
things.
so I as I get older, my terms of length sort of goes by. But
oh, tell me about it.
yeah, but I'm just saying that no, no, instead of no, you still call people waitresses though, or or waitress, waiter. Sometimes,
Server.
yeah,
Server.
but I think you're supposed to go with server or wait staff. But
I don't give a crap.
no, I mean,
I don't care.
I I think that I still say things like sales lady or something like that.
Me
And
too. Salesman,
yeah,
workman's comp instead of
yeah.
workman's comp.
So it is. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know.
All
I'm
right.
sorry, not offense anyone.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, right? So Elon Musk, one of the richest people in the world, has everything, right? Designed a really shitty-looking truck that everyone wanted to buy for some reason. I still don't know what the appeal of the Cybertruck was. It's like our generation's DeLorean, I guess, because I didn't think the DeLorean was that good looking either, but everyone wanted one apparently. Just pals with the sitting president of the United States, owns Twitter, man of the people, wishes he was. Right, so I'm a video gamer, and I have been for most of my adult life, right?
Oh,
Go ahead. It's something I really enjoy. It's something I get people. I like to read, I like to birdwatch, and I like to play video games. Elon Musk also said that he liked to play video games as well. He had several records for Path of Exile 2 and Diablo 4, both of which are action RPGs, which is top-down isometric horror games where you run around killing shit in dungeons, getting better gear, leveling up. Just, one of them old classic games. And, I really respected it for that because Path of Exile 2 is too complicated for me. The skill tree is freaking ridiculous. You need a physics degree to understand that. Anyway, turns out this dude faked both of those scores and freely admitted it. For Path of Exile 2 and Diablo 4, he was paying people to use his account to level up and just to get to the top of the leaderboards on this game. And when I found that out, I was like, why? You're already rich. You've already won. Why?
Because
win everything.
Because he's insecure, man. I mean, you know what I mean?
100%. And he will swear up and down that he really is a gamer, but paying people to play the game is not gaming. Like, he's probably not even watching them do it.
No, but you see, this is the thing. For a long time, I believe. Okay, this is the thing. This is all my opinion before we get into anything. This is my opinion and my opinion alone, right? Not my family's or anybody else. So I would say he has tried to make him look smart and nerdy for a long time. He likes to pretend he's the nerd that got it all, got the girl in the end.
You're right.
And so that's who he, for a long time with Tesla and the Star Project and everything. Those were his biggest fans. Just like, nerds, straight up nerds. And which is not bad because I think, I would say I am a nerd. I think Richard would say maybe he's a nerd. I don't know, but I'm not speaking for him. But
he could not have picked a worse demographic if that was his goal. Because let me tell you, there is nobody more autistic than the people at the top of them leaderboards. And if you don't think they're going to analyze every second of your game footage to see if you're cheating or not, you don't understand that world at all. It's
Yes.
not a world that I want to
100%.
enter ever.
Yes.
As someone who used to do mythic rating in World of Warcraft, I can tell you that everything that you do, every button you push is analyzed. And that's
Yeah.
not even from a competitive point. That's someone on your team.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had someone trying to beat you, how closely they're going to look at your parses and crap like that. Like, no.
I always think of the episode of South Park where, the World of Warcraft episode.
I love that episode.
Where the guy's got carpal tunnel. He's just laying over to the side. He goes, he killed it. That guy must be one badass.
That's actually a really good example
Yes,
of what
it
I'm
is.
talking about, Kevin.
Yeah.
Because when that episode aired, a bunch of these people pointed out to the creators that boars stopped giving you XP after a certain point. So that is actually a really good example, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's good. But yeah, no, I mean, that's, I think, well, a lot of times, in Seattle, for example, I mean, I think I went to school with a guy who was fairly wealthy, and I think he was one of the first people to buy a Tesla. Because he had one of those Teslas that looked like a Lotus Elise, you know what I mean? And that was like way back in the day, and but that was it. He was a super liberal guy, worked at a tech company and everything like that, and was a bit nerdy, and it was like poo-pooed everybody because we weren't with the we weren't green enough and everything like that. And so I wonder, I haven't been in contact with him, but I oftentimes wonder what turmoil he's going through at this point in time, because a lot of these people just stake their claim on this guy. And, I guess it's really hard for a lot of them to come back down into, admitting they're wrong. But again, that's just one of those things where that's the idea of cultism, isn't it? You get further and further and further into it, and then your level of extreme gratitude or loyalty to a guy just gets further and further out there until there's no coming back. I mean, there's almost no coming back, and that's what I'm saying.
I just thought it was really, really ridiculous that somebody with that much money and power and stuff would do something so bloody, well, sad. Just be honest. That's kind of pathetic.
But I mean, isn't that the way it is? I mean, it's like he didn't invent Tesla; he bought it. You know what I mean? He's not the one who designs the rockets. He's not the one.
I was the one, or I was in the OR the other day, and I was talking about him, and I said he is today's Thomas
Edison. Yeah,
100%.
Right, but at
he
the
takes
same time,
patents, he steals patents, he buys patents, he doesn't actually invent.
Right, but I mean, so a guy that wants to do, so it doesn't surprise me that a guy who's made, I mean, let's put it, whether you want to call it money or not, because I don't believe that he's really got a lot of cash. All his money's in stock, but I mean, that can be converted to cash, but still, it doesn't surprise me that a guy that has made smart decisions at times to buy things and it goes up would not just buy reputation in another arena. You know what I mean?
But for nothing. You know what I mean? There was nothing to be gained from doing that at all.
Well, he was probably kicked around as a kid. His
By
daddy,
jocks. What?
he did. You know what? His dad didn't like him, and he's a freaking total mummy's boy. And I mean, it's like somebody like wrote a thing. It was funny. This guy was defending. You know, he quoted Elon Musk's mom as a source of, oh, everybody should like Elon. You know what I mean? He's a good person. That's like asking my mom. I could be a serial killer, and my mom would say, oh, he's all right. He was fine. He was a good boy, except for the time he killed those people.
Though supposedly there's a woman who claims to be his babysitter who basically says he's demonic. So
Oh, yeah.
you
Well,
know, what can you
but
say?
yeah, but I'm just saying, if you have to give your mom as a character reference, you
My mom
really,
thinks I'm wonderful, guys. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know
but,
what
but
is
I'm-
wrong with you.
Yeah, but
The
I'm
world
saying,
does not revolve around you, Elon. Are you calling my mum a liar?
yeah, I mean, the thing that I have to say about that is, you really have pissed off everybody in your life. When I mean, like I said, if you own Twitter, I'm going to say it, if you own Twitter and all these right-wing commentators are on Twitter, how likely is it that they're actually going to give their opinion of Elon Musk,
Yeah.
knowing that they can demonetize you tomorrow?
Mhm.
No, dude. I mean, you're going to have a lie coming out one side of your mouth and his dick in your other side of your mouth. So you can't
Yeah.
take any of these people
Oh.
credibly.
Speaking of Elon and stuff and having things in his mouth, and Gabby brought it up earlier in chat. Did everybody see the AI video of Trump
Of his sucking
sucking on
his
Elon's
toys.
toes?
I wouldn't. You know what?
Did
I'm
you
not gonna
know
say-
that the people could not get the TV to turn off? They were having to unplug the TV from the walls. Whoever hacked it, like, I don't know who they are, but I think that they all deserve a big round of applause or a hug or something.
No,
That's hysterical. I cackled.
I think that they caught the guy.
Oh,
Like
did they?
Yeah, they
Damn.
caught the guy in like 14 hours, which is
Wow.
funny because they can't find people that hack into
Right.
like election machines or anything.
Right. Right.
But they could find the guy who made an AI video and put it on the internet.
That was and hacked into their systems
Yeah.
and made that video play.
Priorities, baby.
Made me laugh so hard. I had to pause it because I was laughing. I was like, this is the most beautiful thing I think I've ever
Yeah.
seen. Just two men who love each other sucking on toes, you know?
Well, there's obviously there's a lot of admiration for one of the. The way I look at it is either admiration or fear, and I'm pretty sure Trump is actually terrified of Elon Musk.
I could see that. Did you see his Elon's kid?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I
I
could see
mean,
that.
it's like, okay. Well, if anybody knows how rich Donald Trump actually is, it's Elon Musk now, that he knows how rich all of us are and our social security numbers and how much we make every month. So, I mean, if any, I mean, I suppose that I'm, I think I'll be first up against the wall when the revolution comes, as they say.
Won't
Because
we
they'll-
all?
Yes, because we didn't.
Wouldn't
I mean,
lick the
I don't.
boot,
I don't even
kiss
say
the butt, bend the
anything
knee.
about. Yeah, I don't say anything about the U.S. government at all. I don't have to. I just talk about Elon Musk and how much of a dickhead he is, and from that standpoint, again, that describes the U.S. government because basically he's in charge of it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right.
that's enough talking about Elon Musk. Tom, go.
Okay. Excuse me. Right. Well, so we all know that about, last night there was a meeting between Trump and Zelensky, and it didn't take very long at all for Trump and was it JD Vance to absolutely just start tearing into Zelensky like something like nothing else. It was crazy. So I've been sort of looking at this and trying to think about it and trying to make sense of it. And here's my take on it, and I wanted to share that and see what you guys thought. I think Trump is determined that he will end aid to Ukraine. He doesn't see the point of it, and he doesn't see it as supporting, world security against a very dangerous aggressor. He does not, and we need to show solidarity with, which is how every, major European leader sees the situation. For all our disagreements as European leaders, we are all united in this. We are behind Ukraine and behind Zelensky because they have invaded by Russia. Trump doesn't see it that way. He sees it just as that we're pouring loads and loads of money into this war, and he's met with Putin, and he and Putin know that they are the head of the two most militarily powerful countries in the world. And I think what he's going to do, and this is whether it was planned or not, last night, by just ripping into Zelensky and saying, you're going to push us to World War III, making Zelensky look like the aggressor rather than the invaded. He's now going to say, no, his position is, well, I'm going to put a peace deal on the table. You are probably going to have to cede territory to Russia. I'm probably going to leave all your future security up to Europe, but you're not allowed to join the UN, or not allowed to join NATO, I mean. And you can take this deal, or if you don't, you're the warmonger. You and Europe are going to have to fight this one out against Putin yourselves. I'm out and no more aid for you. And I think last night, whether it was deliberate and an intended ambush or not, I think that is the outcome. And I think that's the situation we're looking at. And I think the way Trump is pinning all of this on Zelensky and has refused to call out Putin and Russia as the aggressor, I think is terrible. And I think it's really alarming for the balance of power in the world. Okay, that's my take, guys. Your thoughts?
Well, does everybody else want to go first? Because I need about 3 minutes of uninterrupted thing to try to give my take on that. So I'll cede to anybody else who wants to go first.
Just 3 minutes. Go, Richard.
On the one hand, it's total bollocks Trump saying that because Putin invaded Ukraine. This is all on Putin for doing that. On the other hand, is it really America's business? It is very much a Europe problem.
Nikki?
I agree with that to an extent. However, I really believe that there could be a possibility of another war because Trump really loves a dictator. And so you've got Putin, and he gets along fine with North Korea, and he gets along with China. But I think if it continues, there's a reason why Trump is like, woohoo, take out Ukraine, and yay, goodbye Gaza and Palestine. Like, he has his money in the pockets, man. He's ready to pull out the gold. They need to get these people out of the way. And just as we've been doing since the beginning of whenever, we knock out a weaker species. And so we're basically asking for the ethnic cleansing of Ukrainians and Palestinians. And we're okay with that because it gives us more global power. more global territory that our alliances are in. That's the way I feel. That's my uneducated opinion. That's just because I'm a cynic and I think that they're fucking evil. I do not believe that a billionaire is going to care about the working class person aside from what that person could do as a worker bee for them. The end.
Okay.
Go, Kevin.
Okay, I'm going to say this. Okay, first of all, this money that they're saying that, the people act like they just gave money to, Ukraine to, spend on whatever they wanted to. That's not how it went. The money went to U.S. arms manufacturers and, tank makers and aircraft makers and all those different things, to buy those things that went to Ukraine. Okay. So a lot of the money wasn't spent in Ukraine. It was actually spent in here and then shipped there. So, you can look at it from that standpoint. The second thing is the amount of money that they said that they spent wasn't spent in Ukraine anyway. Second of all, I will say this, I think we're entering into a neo-colonialism, state of the world. Back in the day, it was Britain, France, and Spain that had all the colonies in the world. And I believe now it is the US, Russia, and China. Those are the three nations that are powerful, have nuclear weapons, and everybody's afraid of. You have to get rid of NATO, because if you have NATO, then if America tries to mess with the border in Canada, everyone has to join up and defeat the nation that's invading Canada. And since for that standpoint, he wants to basically take over Canada and Greenland. One is owned by Denmark. The other one is owned by, obviously, Canada. That's a violation of international law by starting a war with that. And who would stop him? Do you think if he says to Putin, okay, here you go, mate, I'm giving you Ukraine, I'm going to take these other two things, and China, you go ahead and flip on to Taiwan, which will be the next thing, right? Which we won't back up. Then everybody gets a piece. Then you've got Chinese hegemony in, that area around the Philippines, all that stuff there. They're already encroaching into the ocean, the Pacific Ocean around there. They'll have their little island, their little group. Russia will have his little group in Eastern Europe or more. And, Donald Trump takes over the Americas. There you go.
Oh, my God, I hope you're wrong. I really, really hope you're wrong.
But, I mean, obviously, when you watch that, you can see one thing. You've got two things. You've got a guy that's angry about him being disrespectful. It was interesting to me that everybody said that what Zelensky wore to the Oval Office was disrespectful to Donald Trump. And yet nobody ever complains about what Elon Musk wears, and he wears a hat when he's in there too.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is it's a hit job on Zelensky. Zelensky is a guy who's just coming in there. They bowled over on, they bum rushed the show. It's all like, oh, well, there's these two guys. Yeah, they're really telling Zelensky. Zelensky actually sits there. Look at his body language. He's got his back straight, got his arms crossed. Like, you guys are going at me. I don't give a shit what you say. You know what I mean? And so basically at the Munich security conference 2 weeks ago, as Zelensky said to the interviewer, he said, well, so what do you think about Trump? He said, well, I told Donald Trump Putin was afraid of him. And then Donald Trump corrected me. And now Putin knows. You know what I'm saying? So Trump is coming from a position of weakness. Trump is afraid of Putin. And I don't know why that is, but it is. And that's the thing that I'll say. And I would posted a thing today about being a, Cold War Republican, that, would Ronald Reagan think that an American president would stand up for a former KGB agent and take his side? Well, they would roll over in their graves. But that's maybe the way it goes. Maybe that's why he's getting rid of the old guard. Anybody that has any balls to say anything about it, because he's looking for a bunch of sycophants, and that's the way it is. And when he put out the thing about, I did good, Trump with a picture of a crown on his head and said, "Long live the king," on a U.S. Twitter account, a government White House Twitter account. The fucking writing was on the wall.
Yeah. I agree with Gabby in the chat. She said Trump's not afraid of Putin. I agree with that. I think Trump really respects Putin and looks up to Putin, like almost in the way of a little brother following around the big brother kind of thing. Except for,
again, that's
kind of a little brother. Like I really think
Zelensky
that Trump has a huge respect and love for Putin. I don't think he's afraid of him at all. I think he looks up to him.
Man crush.
He wants what Putin has.
Yeah. Well, then why wouldn't he say that he? Why wouldn't he say that he was a dictator? That's all I got to say. I mean, here's the thing. Putin, Putin's been in power for. Yeah, I understand, but what I'm saying is Putin goes around, just puts everybody that he doesn't like in jail. Everybody that is a detractor that runs against him either mysteriously dies or ends up in some gulag somewhere. He has no problem, going after people around the world. Killed a guy in Britain.
There was a bill passed in Tennessee that they
murdered
could
a guy
not.
with, palladium in Britain. Gets away with it.
There was a bill passed in Tennessee. Oh my God! Can no one hear me?
I muted him. Go.
Oh. Saying there was a bill passed in Tennessee that you, as a congressperson, senator, whatever, actually couldn't vote against his bills or whatever, his ideas, or else it was a felony. Like they couldn't vote against his protocols, what he wanted, or it was a felony. So he's already more than happy to start putting people in jail that he doesn't like for any reason. There you go.
Oh, that's yeah.
Did he rage quit?
I mean,
I don't know.
Did I accidentally kick him? No, I hit the mute button. I didn't kick him.
Oh.
But you were trying to talk, and he wouldn't stop talking. So,
well, I was just trying to to let him know that he's already started that. But he did for months before he was elected. Flat out said, "You elect me, you won't have to worry about voting ever again." He said that 3 times while on the campaign trail.
It's I mean, okay, so I mean, to what extent are we actually in danger of I don't know, what do we call this? The collapse of democratic civilization? I mean,
well, it could be, but because democracies only last a certain amount of time, right? Before they crumble, something happens. So we're right at that stretch of time. I'm not really worried about it. Honestly, I'm an older millennial. I've lived through so much that until it is no longer required for me to show up at work, it's not a problem. If I still got to go into work tomorrow, you know, I'm not going to worry about the probability of blah, blah, blah. Like, what can I do right now as just an average citizen? I can't do anything. I still have to go to work. I still have to pay my bills,
Yeah.
you know. So,
I mean, or what can we do? What
Nothing.
can we do? Fucking nothing.
yep.
We are but peons in the grand
Indeed.
scheme of things. I highly recommend you to come over to my side of the libertarian force and just reject all governments, regardless of who's in power, and pretend
Dude.
they don't exist. Like,
You're
I
not
know
kidding.
you don't like Trump, Nikki, but it's one president's as good as another, as far as
Oh
I'm
no,
concerned. They
I
should all
agree.
be gotten rid of.
I hated Kamala. I have a lot to say about Kamala. I've said plenty about Kamala. I wasn't a big fan of Biden. I had a lot to say about Biden. I didn't like Obama. I don't like
The
any
way-
of them.
The way democracy works right now is you let your kids pick what movie and pizza they want, and then you pick which pizza and movie you want because you're the one with the money. That's how
Right.
democracy works right now. It just
Yeah,
doesn't work anymore.
basically, and like it's been like that my entire life. And I realize that as someone who has always been lower class or upper lower class or maybe lower middle class, every single bad decision in government affects me horribly. Like, everybody loved Obamacare, right? But since I was middle class, I saw my personal insurance just for me alone go from $300 a month to $800 a month just for me. And I had a family of two. So, you know, we like in 1 year, within a few months of each other, we had just got the insurance. And then like 2 months later, I get a thing saying it more than doubled. I got screwed, you know, like it. So I think that a lot of the middle class people are really, really upset, especially if you're lower middle class.
Middle class people are the ones that get fucked, though, the most.
Right. And that's the thing is like we shrink. Now it's like it's crazy. I know women who make like 16,000 a year and can't get help. They can't get any kind of government assistance. We have our seniors who are living on $800 a month. You can't rent a place for that. You can't get groceries. People are starving. Like, it is just the way of the world. I think we're just tired because if you are middle class, I think every single bad decision gets you first.
Yeah, well, it's. I think the things you're describing are, you know, the people who are the kind of people who felt the Democrats and Biden hadn't done enough for them and hadn't done anything for them.
Yeah.
And so they thought, fuck it, we're turning to Trump.
Yeah.
You know, it seems that way.
I've voted
mostly
all over the board, but I think that you're right. There's like this ultra PC of the left with your social justice warriors and all these people that pull left leaning people to the right because, you know, the left have gone so nutty. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think that they all suck. And every single one of them, not a damn one has ever cared about the middle class. That's not who lines their pockets.
That is sadly very much how it seems. Well, on that cheery note, it's midnight.
Yeah. Yeah, I really feel like
doing a Phil Mitchell.
Yeah. No, sorry. Kevin just messaged me.
Tell him I'm so sorry.
Oh.
It's all right. Yeah, I'll explain after the show. Okay, that'll wrap us up for this week. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many. It's good night from me, and it's good night from them. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.